Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, it actually feel like I haven't done a video in like weeks when my last video was about what, Tuesday, Wednesday? Yo, welcome everyone, Sanju Uchiha here and welcome back to the channel where today we'll be tackling episode 186 of the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime. Of course, last week I believe we did cover up until we did adapt until the first 10 pages of chapter 21, so I'm assuming this is going to tackle chapters, well, the remainder of 21 and potentially 22. Potentially I'm interested to see if we're gonna get any additional fight scenes or any flashbacks to pad out the episode or the pacing, but I guess I'll see. But this should be the fight with O. Funny enough, I was expecting the fight with O to be last week, but they kind of slowed down the pacing, which, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I can understand why. But anyway, if you're new here and you like Boruto, be sure to subscribe. Of course, this week, chapter 55 drops, so this is going to be a hype time. It's time to get back to the bread and butter of the channel, because last week felt like a bit of, you know, mainly Black Clover. Speaking of which, I need to kind of review that chapter. But yo, this week is going to be insane. That is the the conclusion at the end of the day. But anyway, let's get into today's reaction and eventual review. The snake cam. If I get a snake cam at your local Walmart or something. It's interesting he makes that distinction between being a shinobi and being a tool, because back in the day, like early Naruto, like you could say characters held the, you know, the mindset that those two things were one and the same. So it's interesting. Yeah. Yo. I actually reread the chapters before coming into this episode. I could have swore it was purple lightning Mitsuki used in this situation here. Yeah. Okay, that's a new scene. Yo. We are the youths. Boruto just never have enough of the forces, I mean. Boruto Skywalker, man. Yeah. Bombard. Yo. Dog, man, lightsaber red. Man's a Sith. I'm loving the pacing of this episode so far. Like, when I reread the chapters a while ago, I was like saying, okay, rest of 21 and probably a good chunk of 22, probably like up to at least half. So it's like we're gonna get that. It's not even just a style of fighting though, but it's like some person would say this isn't even Naruto anymore, which it really isn't, technically. No, hold on. yo, I would just stop. Yeah, you're damn right. Oh, not everybody can become strong like Naruto because, oh, yo, like we just get triggered a while ago because we are say, yo, this kind of comes back to the end the whole thing with the end of Naruto where we know he's the child of prophecy, he's the reincarnation, he's a Uzumaki, him of the nine tails, him of six paths. Yo, not everybody can become as strong as Naruto, you see me? And I know that's a whole debate in terms of how how the end of Naruto affected Naruto's character, but this is not the video for it. But brings up a damn good point right there. No. Anyway, continuing. Yo, watch it. Voila. New scenes. Yo, alright. Whoa, voila, bro. Dog, voila. Alright. I'm loving this. This looks sick, man. Yo! Why the man about the Boruto so why make me look so sick? Love this soundtrack. Alright, so I was hoping to get a flashback like this. Given the piercing and the future episode titles, probably I'm not expecting anything too deep, even though I would want to, but I'll talk more about that in the review section. Yeah. See now, Boruto Skywalker. Yeah. Wait, well on. Them took out this the slashing. See, ah, God. I guess taking out the slashing scene in favor of the additional scenes that we got. I guess it's a fair trade. Yo, Konohara needs some shine somewhere in the story, bro. Hopefully the upcoming fight with him gets some extra scenes too. Oh, what's this? Like man's like bombards. A true thing, Boruto, you know. That makes sense. Yeah, we'll wait on backup. But not really. Seem they? The general. Well, there we go. Yo! Alright, that was episode 186. I feel like I said the wrong episode number at the start of the video. But yeah, episode 186 of the Boruto anime. How you use it. And honestly, coming from last week by, comparing them at least, you can see that this episode was paced much faster, or I would say much better than last week's episode where the pacing was slow due to the fact that they only adapted, I believe, I think less than one chapter, was it? So this episode, going by the manga, we adapted the remainder of chapter 21 and basically all of chapter 22. So that's why by comparison, by comparison, it seems like this episode actually covered a lot in comparison to last episode. So I would say the pacing was pretty decent for this episode, to say the least. So there's that. Arts, they had some nice art shots. Animation was decent, to say the least. Especially when it came on to the additional scenes. Yo, yo, come here, I say, yo, how do Boruto looks so sick? You see me, like when I go through the mirror drones, I say, yo. Alright, but that aside, the episode itself, right? I appreciated the choreography that was on display for the fight with and again, the additional scenes, and not just from a fighting standpoint, there are some little scenes here and there that help to actually pad out, I wouldn't, probably not pad out, but at least make the transitions from, you know, the panels in the manga go much smoother. So I appreciated the episode for that, if nothing else, because looking back, when I read those chapters before coming into the episode, there were some scenes that were, you know, there seemed like there were some hard transitions by Ikimoto when he was drawing those fights. So this episode kind of helps, you know, patch out or make the transitions to scenes a bit more smooth, a bit more natural, and I appreciate that, to say the least. So if you're a manga reader, if you go back and read the chapter, you'll see what I mean. This episode kind of flowed smoothly in terms of the fights, and honestly, yo, one scene that really stands out, apart from the Boruto scenes, the additional ones, is when when Sarada threw oh, that was, no, we just find that funny. But there's that. One thing coming into this episode as well, or coming out of it rather, was the additional flashbacks and conversations with between Boruto and Ao, because that's additional dialogue there they put in that wasn't in the manga, and I think it was necessary, because for the longest while, or for these last few weeks, I've been saying that I wanted a flashback with Ao to get more, you know, a bit more context, a bit more, see how he joined Kara, etc, etc, and we got it for this episode. And like I was saying in the reaction section, is that given the future episode titles and the pacing of these episodes, I guess deep down I wasn't expecting anything too, like any 2-episode flashback or anything like that, but I needed something more. And like how some of you were pointing out to me before, that we did kind of get some context of why he might have joined Kara, in terms of, you know, feeling useless, feeling like his life as a shinobi was over. Lines he spoke to, I believe, Mugino when he was in the village, when he was saying along the lines of, there are some, you know, some obstacles you can't overcome. So we got a bit more of that said context here in this episode, when he says lines like, yo, not everybody can become as strong as Naruto, my life as a shinobi is over. And, you know, Boruto was kind of trying to debate him on it by the, when he says like, why didn't you return to the village, you're still alive, you know. And I think Boruto was coming from the, you know, the perspective that, like, yo, you're not a shinobi anymore, but, you know, you're still alive, you can go back to your home. But the thing is, it kind of comes back to Boruto's generation versus Naruto's generation. Well, even before Naruto's generation mentality, where persons or shinobi back then, just, they knew, the only thing they knew was a life of being a shinobi. It's like, you live your life a certain way from you're young till you're old. It's like, doing something else in life seems unthinkable. So I can see where Ao is coming from, and that characterization or those decisions, the dialogue is heavily rooted in what shinobi were represented as during the time of, you know, Naruto's time, and even before Naruto's time, essentially. Hence why I said in the reaction section, it's interesting when Boruto makes the distinction between being a shinobi and being a tool, because it's like back then things were almost one and the same. So if you get what I mean. So that's where I'm coming from, essentially, with this analysis of Ao's character. So going by that, you can see why he would join Kara without the need to go into some in-depth explanation. There's a certain despair that comes with, you know, I guess, losing the only thing you're quote unquote good at. So you can kind of understand. So there's that. Like, you can empathize, would that be the right term? or it would be sympathy. No, it wouldn't be sympathy. It probably would be empathy. Yeah, you can probably empathize with where I was coming from, and I think that's the goal at the end of the day, even if you don't agree with his decisions. So there's that, and I enjoyed the episode for that because it's kind of like this where Boruto has these subtle callbacks from the ideology that's rooted in original Naruto, and comparing it and clashing it with Boruto and the new generation's ideology. So I enjoyed it for that, if nothing else. Hope I didn't go all over the place there. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode, to say the least, because from piercing to art, the choreography, the animation, yo, man, the extra scenes, the Boruto scenes. Yo, those are, honestly, I really loved it. And of course, one thing that I think needs to be talked about as well is scientific ninja weapons, right? If nothing else, aside from all this scientific ninja weaponry and all enemies having the "oh, you can't use ninjutsu, I can absorb your jutsu," you know, kind of deal. That aside, because I think that's the only recurring problem, because that whole thing kind of gets stale. But I appreciated the scientific ninja weaponry ever since I read this chapter. I don't have a big problem outside of that whole absorb jutsu thing, because I did a video like probably over a year ago now, probably 2 years, probably even 3 years ago. Probably 2. Where I was talking about that scientific ninja weaponry kind of helps to ground back the... It kind of grounds back the fights back, bring them back down to earth, than aside from making it this whole Dragon Ball, yo, Vijutama, it used to be. It kind of grounds back the fight by bringing in some tactics. I'll bet, yes, I know, in a kind of different way, but as long as we have a genuine shinobi on one side, the fights can benefit from the change in battle choreography that scientific ninja weapons bring. So that's something to consider as well, I feel. So yeah, I like the episode, to say the least. So let me know what you thought. I thought it was great. I mean, between the characterization and callbacks to, you know, the old ideology of the ninja world, the fights, the choreography, the additional scenes, the dialogue, the explanation and empathy that they established with O. And of course, we've taken things up a notch in terms of stakes, since Kashin Koji is now in the mix by the end of the episode. So we're making good headway. We're making good headway. I will soon hit on that Kawaki hype train. I hope you enjoyed it and my madness as per usual. Respect for tuning in if you made it this far. Hope you guys are having an awesome Sunday as per usual. Yeah, if you're new here and if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe. Of course, we'll be tackling Boruto chapter 55 this week. Again, it's gonna be on Friday, so I'll be at work. Can't get the day off. So unfortunately, we will not be live streaming my live reaction at the time that the chapter drops. But if you guys still want me to do my live reaction, I come home from work, you can let me know. Versus just doing a regular review video, even though I feel like most of you want the reaction stream. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Sanjay Uchiha, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, share out. I appreciate the effort and respect and the yo, you get what I mean. I'll see you guys in the the next Boruto video.